Hey guys, so I was gonna wait a couple days to do this video, but till my face cleared up a little bit from my fight, but it's gonna be a while, and this crisis isn't going away anytime soon. So here we go on the video. First of all, I think congratulations are in order from everybody from all sides to Vladimir Putin for eradicating the coronavirus. It's been like 10 days, 2 weeks, something like that. And I haven't heard one word in the media or social media, anything about the coronavirus. So apparently it's been eradicated. It doesn't exist anymore. Who knew it's only going to take an invasion of another country to get rid of the coronavirus? So we would have done it earlier. So all kidding aside, guys, I just, I'm in Russia, and a lot of you are writing to me and messaging me and stuff and saying, "Hey, look, you're in Russia, so you have a, your own personal view because you're supporting Russia." Guys, I'm not supporting Russia. I'm supporting the truth, and so, it's really frustrating when people like go, "I stand by Ukraine," or "I stand by Russia," "I stand by the United States." I mean, what the fuck does that mean? Like, no matter what they do, you stand by them. I stand by Germany. Okay, well, in 1939, Nazi Germany started World War II. So you stand by them because you stand by Germany, right? Like, it's crazy. So, I use this analogy as like, if you love your kid, which of course you do. If you have children, you love your kids. You do anything for them, but you also like teach them discipline, and you support them in a productive way that they become good members of society. You don't allow them to, you get called into school and they say, "Hey, your kid's cheating, your kid's bullying," and stuff like that. You don't go, "I stand by my kid. He can do whatever he wants because I love him and I support him." No, that's bullshit. Like, you're not supporting your kid. You're letting your kid do whatever he wants, and it's just lazy. So when people go, "I stand by this country and they can do whatever they want," regardless, is just it's lazy. And it's also, you're not taking any responsibility for having an opinion or standing up for what is right. I mean, if you love your country, you should want what's best for the country, and what's best for your country is getting along with other countries, obviously, and treating its citizens well, and not making war in other countries and stuff like that. So, saying that's why I do not support this invasion of Ukraine. Going into like all of Ukraine. I do support the help of the people of Donbass, and going into Donbass and the two new republics, but I'll use that on a different video. But guys, support and love of your country can be expressed many ways, but just standing up and supporting everything they do without giving it a thought of your own, or having your own input in it, or just allowing it to happen. And it's not love of your country. It's just fucking lazy and irresponsible. So, saying that, guys, looking back at history, you got to have a little look at the history to understand why Russia invaded Ukraine. And like I said, I don't support this invasion, but talking to my friends in Ukraine, talking to my friends in Russia, talking to my friends in the Donbass region, we're corresponding every day, getting an update. I'm going to give you the facts, and you can make up your own decision whether you think this is justified or not. But there is a history to why it's happened, and the Western propaganda that, oh, Putin's a dictator, Putin wants to make Ukraine part of the USSR again and bring back the glory of Russia, and all that is fucking bullshit. It's not true. It's Western propaganda, and there's no truth basis of it at all. So, but you do have to have a little bit of history to understand why Russia's invading. And like I said, I'm not justifying the invasion. I'm just giving the reason, and the stated reason actually, that Russia has invaded Ukraine, and this is exactly what Putin says, and their media, and the media says, and the whole government says. So whether you believe it or not believe it, this is like what they say. But the history is truth. So in 1991, Ukraine and Russia broke out. The USSR dissolved. Ukraine, one of the republics, became its own separate country, but the relationship between Ukraine and Russia remains strong. I mean, even today, man, these people that call each other, "This is my brother," and that's why this war is so so fucking terrible. Is that it's really brother against brother. It's almost a civil war. But so politically, like socially, economically, these countries have remained tight throughout the years. So, but in 2014, there was a coup, U.S. CIA sponsored coup where they helped far right wing fascist groups overthrow the democratically elected president of Ukraine, Viktor Yanukovych, and a U.S. puppet was installed, and then since then another U.S. puppet has been installed, and he's pro-West, pro-NATO, pro-European Union. And so this obviously didn't sit very well with Russia. And so we're going to go back a little further in 1991, or 1990, when Germany reunified. West and East Germany became Germany again. And Russia pulled out its 320,000 troops. Russia allowed Germany become part of the West, become part of NATO. And in what they were given was George Bush's famous quote saying, "NATO will not move 1 inch forward," meaning NATO won't expand to any more countries, and this is it. But since then, since 1991, NATO has expanded to 14 additional countries. 14 additional countries. So Europe, I think there's 27 or something like this countries that are part of NATO. And NATO, what is NATO? NATO is a military organization. It's a military agreement. So they share information. They share, one NATO nation gets attacked, they're all gonna support them, all this stuff. But NATO was a response to the USSR at the time, because during the Cold War, Russia or USSR had the Warsaw Pact and the Eastern Bloc countries that were the communist countries, and so it was a counterbalance to the Warsaw countries. But when the USSR broke up in 1991, there was no more Warsaw. There is no more Warsaw. So, what is the need for NATO? But anyway, NATO expanded to 14. They broke their promise to Russia. They expanded to 14 additional countries. In addition, they promised the former republics of Georgia in 2008, they promised Georgia and Ukraine that they could be part of NATO, and they would be part of NATO. Now, NATO, of course, Georgia and Ukraine are right at Russia's border. And this didn't sit very well with Russia. And they're Russia, in 2000, they invaded Georgia and put a quell to that uprising there. And now they've invaded Ukraine, and their stated response is, man, we just want a guarantee that Ukraine isn't going to be part of NATO, that they're not going to be part of this alliance. I mean, like I said, it's a military institution. These countries all around surrounding Russia have military installations. Many of them have nuclear installations, nuclear missiles pointed right at Russia, just a few hundred kilometers away from Russia. So this is going on right now, and now Ukraine's been promised this. And Russia attacked Ukraine, and their statement is that they're not going to occupy Ukraine. They're looking to eradicate some of the fascists in the government, not the president. Some of the fascists in the government and also in the military, but what they really want is a guarantee that NATO is not going to expand to Ukraine. They want some kind of guarantee, and then they want to make peace. So, like I said, I'm not justifying the occupation, and I'm not saying that this is right or wrong, but I'm saying that this is the reason that they're given, and this is the history of Russia and NATO, and with the broken promises to Russia. And this is why they feel like they need to defend themselves.